All right, y'all, let's have some fun. So the other day, Crystal and I did a segment on the right-wing civil war. You had Tim Pool and Nick Fuentes were going at it pretty aggressively. Now, in this instance, I think it was Tim Pool who threw the first punch and had some rant against Nick. By the way, you can go watch the whole segment. It's on YouTube. Just type in Secular Talk, Tim Pool, Nick Fuentes. And look, in the back and forth, there's no denying Nick Fuentes got the better of him because it's so easy to just point out, and this is accurate, Tim, you literally just met with Netanyahu at the White House. Like, nobody thinks you're objective. Nobody thinks you're a truth teller. Nobody thinks you're outside the club. Now, you're in the club. And beyond that, you also took, I forget exactly how much money it was, but there was the big scandal where there was an indictment over the Tenet Media Company because you were taking money, hundreds of thousands, from this company, which was effectively acting as, a front or a shell company for straight up Russian government money. Now, Tim says, well, I didn't know it was Russian government money. They lied to us and we thought it was just some shady, shadowy billionaire. But as I always say in response to that, it's like, that's just as bad, right? Whether you knew it was Russian money or not, at the very least, you knew it's a shady, shadowy billionaire who's giving you money. You could just not take shady, shadowy billionaire money. I don't. It's not that hard, right? So it was too easy for Fuentes to sort of slap him around and be like, who are you kidding, right? Like, you're not this fucking skater boy. Like, you're part of the club. You're inside the club. You met with Netanyahu. You're all on Trump's nuts 24/7. You took that money from Tenet Media. So, like, stop it. Just stop, right? So Nick definitely got the better of him in that back and forth. So apparently there were, I guess, a number of groypers who ended up watching that clip and enjoying it. And one of Fuentes' groyper fans asked him a question during his show, and let me show you what unfolded next. Let's watch.
Henry Adams sent $10. Have you seen Secular Talk coverage of you and Tim Pool a couple days ago? All the comments are agreeing with you. Secular Talk tries to cover you in very short snippets and then call you a Nazi, but you end up winning over the audience at least to some degree every time.
Let me just say, it's not that I'm calling him a Nazi. It's that he has said he has admiration for Adolf Hitler. In fact, one of the things I've said before about Nick, which makes him more honest than other right-wing commentators, is that he will just say that he's either a white nationalist or he will say that he's a Nazi. Now, I don't know if he stopped calling himself a Nazi or whatever, but the evidence is there to indicate he is indeed that. So that straightforwardness is something that is better than the other assholes that play hide the ball, right? So it's not, I didn't make it up. It's based on the evidence, which we'll get to in a little bit, by the way. So here's his response.
When are they just going to admit to love times? When will they just give up their resistance and embrace me? At a certain point, left-wing people have to stop posting the worst person ever just made a point you agree with me and just say, I make good points all the time. Okay? They're always posting that. I can't believe Nick Fuentes said that and I'm actually agreeing with him. It happens all the time. I happen to be right about a lot of things. So just stop resisting me. The resistance must stop. And the left must submit. The left must embrace me. The left will embrace me. The right will embrace me. I'm getting tired of people saying the worst person you know just made a great point. I'm the best person you know, and I made another great point. People are always saying that. They're like, I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. Why? You don't even watch my show. So anyway, one day it will happen. One day, the path will be cleared, and I will be embraced. And then it's going to happen for us.
Wrong. In fact, quite the opposite. One day, you guys will embrace leftism. You guys will embrace the truth. So let me walk you through this a little bit. Now, every now and then, Nick Fuentes will come out there and he'll say something that seems true on, for example, the issue of the genocide in Gaza and Israel carrying it out. But as I often point out to you, there is such a thing as being right for the wrong reason. So we talk about the genocide in Gaza because we care about human rights. We care about Palestinian freedom, liberation, and sovereignty. And we see that Israel is an apartheid ethno-state, and we're against apartheid ethno-states. That's why we talk about it, because it's a moral atrocity. I oppose it on moral grounds. Now, Nick Fuentes, as I said, he's more honest than the other right-wingers, so he gives us these moments where perhaps he's a little too honest, and it comes back to bite him in the ass. Here's, in his own words, Here's what he actually thinks about Palestine. Watch this.
I don't care that much about this conflict, just like I really don't care that much about Russia and Ukraine. But just like with Russia and Ukraine, this conflict has severe consequences for our adversaries. And what are we? We are an American sovereignty movement. You understand what that means? We believe that the American people should have sovereignty over their own country. It means that we should be able to determine, we Americans should be able to determine how our country is run and what happens in our country. We don't have that right now. Right now, our government is captured by foreign interests, one of which is Israel, one of which is the Jewish maximalist Likud party in Israel, which dominates our government. The Likud regime in Israel has captured our government. They're responsible for the censorship. They're responsible for the war in Iraq. And if Israel's genocide of Gaza is going to rally international support against them, then once again, this becomes a situation where the enemy of our enemy becomes our friend. And so, although I'm an American and I'm an America firster, and on some level I am ambivalent in a true sense about the outcome of these conflicts, we have to recognize their strategic importance. America is the seat of the liberal empire that controls the world. And we are enemies of that liberal order because of our old world views. And so to the extent that Russia is rolling that back, or China is rolling that back, to the extent that Israel is being led into a trap which will alienate it from the world and diminish its influence, then we have to support these causes. We have to be strategic about it.
So he's at it, not me. He actually doesn't really care about Palestinians. He doesn't really care about the genocide. He takes these positions for strategic reasons because he's against the liberal order in the world. Now, the difference there is I actually want the liberal order and international law to matter. I want it to be enforced. I want it to be real. So he's taking this position for the exact opposite reason. I'm taking it for moral reasons. I'm taking this position, and leftists take this position for moral reasons. He's taking it for strategic reasons, and because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? And I'm against the liberal order, and this helps bring down the liberal order. There's a big difference there, y'all. There's a big difference. And virtually everything I say about Fuentes' position doesn't come from me. It comes from things I've seen of him. And I think that's a chicken shit position. It's a chicken shit position to say, I don't actually care about the genocide. I don't care about the bombings of hospitals and schools and UN buildings and paramedics and sniping children in the face. I don't actually care about that. It's just, strategic. That's why I'm taking this position. But I'm not done yet. So let's continue. He's shocked that people hit him with the worst person you know made a decent point. No, people say that because it's true. Here's another example.
Let's hope they round up a few innocent people just on account of that. It's a small sacrifice. It's a small price to pay. What if we did round up a few regular illegals from some other country and put them in El Salvador in prison? Go ahead, tell your friends and tell their wives and tell their kids to tell their friends. This is what happens when you fuck around in America. You come here illegally. You take advantage of our system. You prosecute a war on our land. And yes, you may wind up imprisoned in some shithole prison in El Salvador forever. Good, and I hope they know that, and maybe they'll think twice. Maybe they'll think twice about coming here. Maybe the ones that are here will think twice about staying. And maybe that was the intended effect. And to that, I say, bravo, good job.
So you loved Kilmar Abrego Garcia being locked up, even though they said that he doesn't have a criminal record and it was an administrative error, and then they doubled down on it. You love that fact. You love the fact that the 19-year-old gay Venezuelan makeup artist without a criminal record was sent to the slave labor concentration camp. You love that one guy had a mom and dad tattoo, and the regime said, oh, that means that you're in a gang, and so we're going to send you there. No due process, no habeas corpus, 288 people sent to a concentration camp. No hearing, no trial, no nothing. 75 to 90% of them don't even have a criminal record. You love that. In fact, your take is we should go further. So in other words, your take on Trump is you're not right-wing enough. You're not draconian enough. You're not anti-immigrant enough. I've heard him make the argument, oh, the problem with the Trump regime is they're not actually doing mass deportations, bro. Well, you got to be happier these days, because as we just learned, Stephen Miller the other day had a meeting with top DHS and ICE officials, and he was berating them and saying, why are you only trying to go after criminals? Go to the 7-Elevens. Go to the hair salons. Go to the Home Depots. Round up whoever. We have a quota of minimum 1,200 people per day. So, sorry, we've run out of undocumented immigrant violent criminals. We ran out of those in like a week or so. Now, just get innocent people. Get grandmas. Oops, did you happen to get a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old American citizen? The 4-year-old with fucking cancer? Oops, I guess sorry, we deported you, too bad. Did you arrest a woman immediately after she gave birth and then there had to be giant protests for you to let them go? Well, you should have actually shipped her out of the country. That's his position. That's his position. So when he's right accidentally, and he's right for the wrong reasons, and it is the worst person you know making a good point. And by the way, the reason why I low-key like the role he plays is because he functions as somebody who divides and conquers the right. Do you understand what that means? That means he makes a stink on the right, and he starts throwing Molotov cocktails at largely his ideological allies, and then they start infighting with each other, and then the movement falls apart. So he functionally plays the same role that somebody like Jimmy Dore played on the Democratic side in 2018, 2019, around there, maybe even 2017, where he says, I'm the leftiest of the leftiest, and I'm going to spend all my time shitting on the people who are also on the left, but not as left as me, and I'm going to give the right-wingers and the Republicans a total fucking pass, and so I will divide and conquer my own side. May as well be a fucking CIA op on the left in Jimmy's instance, but in this instance, may as well be a CIA op on the right to divide and conquer the right, and that's why I love it. I love the right-wing infighting. I love when you guys go at it. I love when you go for the jugular. I love when you're focused on each other and ripping yourselves apart from the inside, because then you collapse under your own weight. And as you all know, the Democrats are fucking useless. They don't know how to fight, so you need the right-wingers to take down other right-wingers in order to block the agenda. So that's why I like it. But make no mistake about it. His issue here is Trump's not fascist enough. I need you to be more fascist. All right, more.
What it would look like to build a society based on our distinct worldview, which is different from the left, different from a godless, atheist, constructivist, liberal worldview. And what does that look like? Does that look like a society where you have gay marriage and birth control and contraceptives and legal, ubiquitous internet pornography and all the rest, but transgender kids aren't playing in girls' water polo? No. That's not what it looks like. It looks like a society where women don't have the right to vote. And it looks like a society where boys and girls get married as teenagers and start having kids. And they don't use birth control and they don't use contraceptives. And they have big families and a high birth rate. And it looks like women wearing veils at church. And it looks like women not being in the workforce. And it looks like mothers raising their kids. And it looks like pornography being banned. And homosexuality and transsexuality, as well as heterosexual sodomy, as well as fornication and adultery being shamed by the society, and maybe in some places, in some jurisdictions, regulated by the law. It's not enough to say we're against trannies, you gotta be against women's rights too. It's not enough to be against blue-haired feminism, you gotta be against women getting educated. Okay? Or else, what are we really trying to achieve here? 1999? 1999 sucked too. We wanna go back to 1099. We wanna go back to the Middle Ages. So we're burning your gay pride flag, we're burning your gay pride float, and then we're gonna drag your bitch wife out of her house kicking and screaming, and then we're gonna burn her at the stake too for being a witch.
Where do I even fucking begin? Let's go down the line here. I don't even know if I could get to everything he said there, but he loves the idea of porn being banned. Dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. Dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life, and I guarantee you, if you were to see the search bars of the fucking groypers who love this man, I'm sure there's some kinky ass shit you'll come across, homie. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm sure Nick himself has got some kinky... Alex Jones, for example, is Mr. fucking Christian, libertarian, anti-establishment. Well, there was one time on his show where he was trying to show a tab, and there was another tab that was up, and he was watching trans porn, okay? The silent sinners scream the loudest. The ones who pretend, I'm the most morally pure, I only like missionary sex with my wife and having a white picket fence and 3.5 kids and a dog. And those are the ones where you go to their Google search history and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck are you into, bro? So banning porn, get the fuck out of here. He says he wants women not to have the right to vote or go to school. And they need to wear veils in church. No sodomy, which, by the way, is both oral and anal sex. So you're saying no side means nobody can get a blowjob, nobody can have anal. Is this the world you want? This sounds like an objectively worse world. Full stop. This is not the world I want to live in, where it's basically like the Christian Taliban, and he says, I want to go back to the Middle Ages. No gay rights. So, no, it's not like, bro, I'm just right about everything. It's not the worst person you know made a good point. No, whenever you happen to accidentally say something correct for the wrong reasons, it is the worst person you know made a point, right? Like, that's literally what it is. There's no other way around it. I'm still not done. Let's keep going.
There is an occult element at the high levels of...
By the way, for somebody who hates porn so much, he sure does look like a 1980s gay porn star with that mustache.
Society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
People who practice magic and witchcraft? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of all the things to be concerned about, should we be worried about the corruption in our government and Wall Street and big corporations and billionaires buying our government and rigging it in favor of themselves, giving themselves billion-dollar subsidies, giving themselves tax cuts, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, getting rid of people's health care, getting rid of the social safety net? No. Witches and magic. And we got to burn people at the stake if they're a witch doing magic? What the fuck are you babbling about, son?
I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus' country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country.
So the death penalty for atheists and Jews, the death penalty, this is not, he says this is God's country. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. We have separation of church and state in this country. We are a secular country. Everything good in this country came from Enlightenment values. It didn't come from the Christian psychopaths who've always been wrong about fucking everything, who are trying to ban abortion today, for example, and ban gay marriage, and they're crusading against trans people for merely existing. Jesus Christ. I'm still not done, bro. Make it end.
If you really believe in Christianity, we have a different religion than these people, than the rest of these people in this country. We have a different religion than these Jews. We have a different religion than these liberals. What is your true religion? Because, of course, we believe that these things like transgenderism and homosexuality and feminism and usury and liberalism itself, these things are sinful. These things are wrong. Democracy is wrong. Oof. Feminism is wrong. Oof. Contraceptives are wrong. If you want to be right with God, you must oppose all this stuff. You know what isn't said to be wrong? Anti-Semitism, denying the Holocaust, being racist, being, whatever, being a sexist.
I don't even need to respond to that one. What do I even say? Your God is fake. You're silly. And you're hanging on to a Bronze Age, multi-thousand-year-old religion for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than you like the social outcomes of having extreme hierarchy, men on the top, and everybody else being fucking oppressed. That's the bottom line with that one. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. And yeah, was there a time period of cringe new atheism on Reddit? Sure. But let's also not forget, they're right. They're right. That this fucking stupid-ass religious thinking gets us objectively worse things every single step of the way. And that's what this guy is cheerleading. This is the movement that he's leading. More fascist, more Christian nationalist, more, here we go.
Country are furious. They don't like my hatred for the poor. They don't like that, and I don't know why. I don't get it. But I don't care, because I do fucking hate the poor.
Oh my God. He said, I don't care. I do fucking hate the poor. And you're going to lead a mass movement. You're going to lead a revolution in this country. You hate the fucking poor. Well, in this country that accounts for what? At least the bottom 50%? Do you have any idea the massive income and wealth inequality in this country and how much regular people are struggling to get by. Up like over 60% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. And by the way, these people work hard and bust their ass and try to take care of their family. And they live in a hyper-capitalist exploitative system dominated by billionaires and robber barons, screwing them on a daily basis, trying to take away their health care, take away any semblance of a social safety net, make them fucking peasants to corporate overlords. That's the world that we live in. And you're going to go out on your show and rant about how you hate the poor. Well, then I hope the poor hate you right back, son. That's what I hope.
And I hate poor people and I hate poverty. And I'm sick of lying about it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't, okay? I love the rich.
This is your hero, y'all. This is your anti-establishment crusader because what? He criticizes Trump from his right? Jesus Christ, bro. Jesus Christ. We don't even need to go any further on that one. And then there's this classic. Everybody remembers this one.
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi. I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice. No more abortions. Yeah, that's right. No more abortions. No more food stamps. Sorry, honey.
And then finally, to this question of him being a Nazi, I often reference this, that him and Alex Jones had a debate. And how long ago was this debate? Let me see. 2 years ago. They had this debate. And literally the whole point of the debate was, is Hitler based? Like, literally, that's the whole debate. And here, just a little taste of it for you.
Get the Hitler thing out of the way. Do you actually admire Adolf Hitler?
In some ways, yes.
Kyle, you're smearing him by calling him a Nazi, bro. He just loves Hitler in the same... It's like what Alex said to Kanye, remember? He was like, oh, what you mean is you love, like, the Hugo Boss uniforms, right? They actually look really cool, right? That's what you mean when you say you admire the Nazis, right? Softball down the center of the plate, and Kanye fucking whiffs it. He's like, no, I love Hitler. I love him. I don't even need to say anything else. I rest my case. This and there's a real important reason why we're doing this segment. Is because people should not misconstrue us covering right-wing assholes ripping each other's faces off as any sort of endorsement of anybody involved in the fight. No, they can both be absolutely loathsome, grotesque cretins, but we can enjoy the blood sports. And we can enjoy them destroying the right-wing movement from the outside. Because ultimately, that outcome, that consequence is based as fuck. So yes, Nick, go forward. Plow ahead. Every day, go after these other right-wingers who you think are total charlatans and sellouts and this and that. And I will enjoy it from afar. So, but don't get it twisted. Ain't no fucking love for any Nazis here. And if anything, it's the exact opposite of what you say. He was like, oh, stop saying the worst person you know made a great point. Maybe I'm just right about stuff, bro. Maybe I'm just right about stuff, bro. Or maybe we're just right about stuff. Maybe the leftists are just right about everything. Maybe that. All right, guys. That's the show, y'all. Love you very much. You know the drill. Everybody, please click like, click subscribe, all that fun stuff. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. You can support the show on Patreon. That link is below. Remember, this is real independent media. I've never talked to any advertiser ever, never done an ad read ever. You guys support the show from the ground up. Also, go subscribe to Corin's World on YouTube. I would deeply, deeply appreciate that. You could also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below as well. I'll see you back here tomorrow, y'all. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.